Episode
That's a little
4.
heavy.
Here we go. How's it going?
Good.
Am I supposed to answer
I
that?
didn't know if that was rhetorical or not. I'm sorry.
No, I was asking you guys.
He really
It's going great,
genuinely
man.
wants
It's
to
going
know.
great.
He cares. Somebody who cares. Oh my goodness.
Kind of looks like we all woke up just like 30. It's like maybe Seamus, because I know he went to the gym.
Yeah.
I woke up like an hour and a half ago.
I'm a little behind the eight ball for my standards, so I think I woke up like 9:30 today.
Same.
Nigel definitely did.
Wow.
I think
That's
it's
a
gonna
lot,
be funny.
lot of
We're in
hours of
like
awakeness.
4 different time zones, and we all just woke up at the same time.
Yeah. That's definitely the worst for me, as it's like
Yeah.
past 6 p.m.
Nigel, are you actually listening to the album as we go through this? That could be kind of fun.
Yeah, I am. I
Okay.
am listening right now. I
All
mean,
right.
I've heard a few of the songs before, but yeah.
Interesting.
This isn't in order, is it? No.
It's
Why
I don't
not.
know if it ever is on.
Why do they
Apple
do
list.
that? That's
It's in
so
the order of.
Can you fix that?
fix that.
No, I think that's in Jack's room, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you pull up Spotify and just use that?
No. How many times do I have to say it?
Why can't you again?
No Spotify. There's it messes up the windows and it gets a little buggy. All right, here we go.
God, this
London
place sucks.
calling, track list,
Oh,
I'm really glad you
Caps
restarted
Lock.
the Zoom.
track order.
Oh,
Here we go.
Wikipedia. Dude, but we can't cite this because
Wikipedia
some of the
nothing else.
information is false.
Yeah.
Everyone happy now?
Anyone could edit this.
Can you
You could have
zoom out
changed
one?
the order like 5 minutes ago. We would never know.
Inky,
It's
can you
pretty
click
good.
Command minus? There we train in vain in it.
There
now,
we
too.
are. Yes. It's blocked out from your face in the corner, but all right. No, now we are ready.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Oh.
guess so.
I don't know. Any initial thoughts? Anyone want to take it? Go first.
Great album.
Great album. I was
Great album.
thinking Seamus just as our resident Clash expert.
Cool, love that. Yeah, I mean, so I can go first. I'm a big Clash guy. Although I feel like I haven't listened to them a ton lately. Inky knows that Give 'Em Enough Rope is one of the 2 Clash albums that I have, and it's probably my favorite by them. That one's very like I would say very punk leaning. So I don't know. I feel like the Clash are kind of like we talked about how the Beatles have changed sounds, and obviously a lot of bands change sounds over time. And the Clash have a couple different sounds. This one kind of teeters between that like punk and ska.
Yeah.
You know, they started mixing in a lot of the reggae influence and stuff like that. So obviously it's a pretty deep album with being at 4 sides. I thought it was cool that Jack suggested talking about this one.
Yeah.
Again, I kind of thought the first Clash one would be something that I had to bring into it, and I didn't think we were going to get around to it this soon. As far as the songs go, I would probably say my favorite is Death or Glory. Train in Vain, also a good shout. I feel like that's a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could say that either of those are like underrated. I don't know what I would call like the most I don't really know how well known this album is. I think Train in Vain is probably like the biggest radio song.
Yeah. I think that's
And
On this one,
kind
Train
of
and
going
London
in.
and London Calling, yeah. And I don't know. I just like some of the other songs I like on it are The Right Profile. Revolution Radio is cool. That's got that kind of ska feel that was in the peak ska days in the summers and
Mhm.
late high school, early college. That was definitely in the ska mix.
Yeah.
And they
Way ahead of your
lost in
time.
the soup. Yeah.
Okay.
Lost in the Supermarket's a cool
Yeah.
it's almost like an 80 like that one probably has the biggest like 80s vibe, I would say. Would you agree?
Yeah. I was kind of thinking police-ish when I listened to it.
It's got the whole new wave feel. It's kind of like there's a few bands that sound like and I can get more into it when I go. But yeah, Lost in the Supermarket rocks.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of some of the other 80s, like Tears for Fears type of vibe almost, Um
Yeah.
so and what am I missing? Like MVP slash underrated song and also least favorite.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good overview though.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like I don't know if there's no song I hate. You know what's interesting though, and we can use this to segue, Jack, if you don't mind going next, just because Guns of Brixton was one you pointed out to Nigel. I'd
Mm.
like to hear your take on it because when I listened to it this morning, cover to cover, that was a song that I was like, this is probably a skip.
Mm.
Now,
Ooh.
Wow.
when you told Nigel to listen to it, I think I kind of picked up why you told him that. But if you want to take it from here,
Well, I'm curious
I'm kind
why
of
I picked it because I love it, but what did you think?
so like if kind of like remembering the song itself correctly, like it's not a very if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think it's a very guitar heavy song.
Mm.
Um, and again, some of ska reggae influenced songs just do that like upstrung, like every here and there kind of ska riff. It's
Mm.
not that guitar heavy, anyways. Some of them, I don't know. It just didn't catch my ear. But I will say I thought the beat behind it was kind of cool, and there was a cool bass line supporting it too. And I was wondering if you were trying to put that on Nigel's radar because when I re-listened to it and first like heard that first like 30 seconds, I was like, this sounds almost like a hip hop beat.
Mm.
Oh,
Um, yeah, interesting. I think this is so fascinating because this album has, I think, honestly, three really distinct sounds. London Calling
yeah.
and Train in Vain, the bookends, they are, as we said, they're like pretty big radio hits. They're like some of their biggest songs ever, and I feel like they sound pretty different from the rest of the album. Um, and that might just be biased because that's what I'm most familiar with based off like them being big hits. And then you have the more punk side, I would say, that Seamus kind of alluded to with Death or Glory and kind of the second half of the album, really. Um, it's got that sound. And I'd say the first half has a lot of the new wave sound. They sound a lot like the English Beat, um, Gang of Four, Dynamite, all these bands that kind of around the same time. The Clash was a little before them, a little before their time, but that's like one of my favorite genres of music. Like I love that stuff. It's the like it's kind of like before BC Boys too, where it's this like connection of punk, reggae, ska, and I guess like just 80s synthesizer stuff and just weird stuff and
Yeah.
like a lot of sampling too. And this was before the sampling, but I think that's one of my favorite genres of music. I love it. And that's when I was listening to this album, when I was first suggested to listen to it by someone recently, like all the way through. I was like, all right, what else does the Clash have besides London Calling and Train in Vain? And side two, is like I think one of the best sides of like any record ever. Like Spanish Bombs to the Guns of Brixton is just like song after song is just so awesome. So I mean, like that side I guess is like my MVP. It's just like hit after hit, and it's all just like weird too. Like Clamp Down is like really fun, and it's super different from Lost in the Supermarket, and then that's super different from Guns in the Brixton. But they all just flow so well together, which I think is so cool about this album. It just kind of like is a total roller coaster, and it's like a huge album too. Like you said, Seamus, it's very deep. Four sides, which is like it's a big album, and it's bigger than anything else that we've discussed so far. At least when I've been here. So, you know, that kind of comes along with the thought that some of the songs they kind of just meld into each other a little bit, and like it's tough to differentiate them, I think, in my opinion, and that really comes into play with like sides 3 and 4 for me. that is probably like my least favorite area, or I just like I don't really, you know, those are the stuff that I might skip. And I think this is really interesting because Seamus and I are coming at this from like completely different angles with like different music tastes, and we both find like the opposite sides that we like love of this album. And I think that's kind of like the beauty of this album is that people with like somewhat different music tastes or like different interests can like find amazing pockets of this huge album. And it's like, and then it's bookended by two amazing hits that are like world known. And so I just think like all the way through, it's got like a ton of stuff to offer everybody.
Real quick, I just want to say that like you talking about us coming from like both liking the same album, but for like the opposite songs is a theme that's like so apparent in our taste in music. I feel like anytime
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like I feel like some of the classic rock that
Yeah.
we like two different sides of it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would say rap were probably like hip hop were probably in the same spot, but
Mhm.
it's fun. I felt that way before, like back in the flower shop and stuff like that too.
Mhm.
It's like 90s music. We both like 90s music, but I'm not like as into the Red Hot Chili Peppers as you. I
Yeah.
mean, I like them. I'm not saying they're bad. You know what I mean? But it's just
Yeah.
like
And I think that
you're
makes
super
for,
heavy in that.
yeah,
Not it's yeah.
it makes for
It's
great
it's
debate.
funny because I would say that that's definitely true of this album too. Because you
Yeah.
spotlighted some songs that I didn't even really talk about.
Yeah. Lots in the Supermarket and Guns of Brixton are my top two for sure. Those are my favorite. But yeah, totally agree, Seamus. I think it makes for like an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Jack,
Pass to
are you
Nige.
good?
Yeah, pass over to Nige.
I was gonna say you might
All
want
right.
to pass it to Inky since
Or
Nige
maybe pass it to
still
Inky.
to the
No,
album.
I'll go.
Okay.
All right. So I think it's interesting that what you said about like having so many songs that different people can have a preference for like a certain side, right? Because there's so many different almost subgenres within the album, right? But I actually had the opposite take completely. Is that like I do like this album, but I think it could have been shorter or split up because it is kind of just all over the place. I feel like it's not super cohesive. And there are some songs that kind of fall under the radar, especially like I guess it depends on if you're sitting through like a full session listening from the first song to the last song because you can get kind of like ear tired, I guess, which maybe adds to why once you got to side three, you've already listened to like 10 songs. You're kind of like, okay, is any of this like super different? And if it's not, it kind of just flies under the radar essentially, at least until you get to Train in Vain. But I would say my favorite song is probably Train in Vain. Just awesome. My most underrated song, I would say, I really like the Card Cheat. And I mean, I don't think anyone's mentioned that song so far. So definitely underrated, kind of long, but I like the vibe of it. And then the song you recommended to me, the what is it? The Boys.
Guns of Brixton.
Was it Back in Town? Yeah. The Boys in Brixton.
I didn't even listen
Also
to the right
like that.
album.
Good Lizzie guy.
And listen.
Wait a second.
Also a great song, and the drum beat definitely unique compared to anything else on the album. But I can see where Seamus comes from, as in like, you know, there's not any solos or anything that like that. Like I think Jimmy Jazz has a solo, and what do you call it? Supermarket has a pretty decent solo too. But and my least favorite song, it'd probably be like Koala Koala. I listened to that, and is that what it says? Koala Koala.
You are butchering yourself.
He also said the Boys
Yeah.
too.
Dude, what
Right
album
there.
did you listen to?
Well, you guys don't have Koala Koala. I must be listening to like the European version or something.
Yeah, the Japanese version of it or something.
Nigel.
Coca-Cola. Yeah, I don't really like that song. When did this album come out, by the way?
Good question.
78 or something. If I don't know. 80.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Huh,
79.
look at that. I split the difference. Yeah.
79. That's a great Smashing Pumpkin song. But
Mhm.
yeah, I thought the album was pretty good. I think it's too long though, to be honest. I think if you're gonna have an album this long, every song needs to be a banger. Otherwise, like you're gonna get tired of listening to it straight through. And you don't have to listen to an album straight through, but if you do, it should still be a good experience the whole time. And I think that's probably why they split up London Calling and Train in Vain, because if they were both at the beginning of the album, I feel like a lot
No
of
one would
people would
listen.
even listen to the other sides,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, it's a legitimate strategy that a
Yeah.
lot of artists do. So, I mean, I feel like that's definitely something they probably did because Coca-Cola,
The worst thing on earth.
Worst thing I've ever heard. Sorry, Clash, you guys are good. Yeah, that's my 5 cents.
Nice.
Nice.
What you got,
Popcorn,
Inki?
Yeah, I got some pretty quick stuff, not much. 2 MVPs, one on the fly, Jack, your whole segment there, and the back and forth with Seamus on kind of liking the opposite. And I mean, that was beautiful. That's what the fans are coming for. That was, I mean, wow. I mean, and
That's why you can charge $80 for this album.
Yeah.
exactly. And Seamus said at the beginning, but I do love how it just came up organically in the group chat. You were just like, this album, awesome. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And
Yeah.
from a surprise source, like everything you were saying, I was just like, wow, man, I can't believe this is coming out of your mouth. But you and Seamus probably gonna start hanging out more, having some more conversations like this. So again, beautiful to see. My actual prepared MVP though, I love the English theme, and Seamus and I are both pretty fond of the culture, just being big fans of the Premier League. Looking at you, Nigel, don't say anything.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Soccer. But anyway,
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll just mute you for this part if you want.
I was
I'll just
some slander, but
I'm gonna say some racy things.
too tired. Anyway, the album just reeked of that English culture, similar to the like the Dire Straits debut, West End, fish and chips at the pub. But
Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Those people.
I might have to get some fish and chips today, man.
Yeah, listen to this.
I've had
Sounds
a lot of fish and chips while I've been here.
makes
Been
sense. Yeah,
Dude, what country are you in?
I know, throwing the wild cards all the time.
nothing.
Sorry.
Well, I guess it's probably not landlocked.
Yeah,
Who
Fair
knows,
enough.
man? Maybe I had chicken fish and chips. You don't know. Chicken chips.
Chicken fingers. You mean?
Chicken fingers and
They're
fries.
called
Great.
chicken fish and chips. All right.
Sorry, Inky.
no,
Yeah, back to the
Sorry for that nonsense.
no. That was pretty much it. The English theme, gotta love it, and they pump out some good albums.
Yeah. So that's also really, really strong in Give 'Em Enough Rope, which is
Got it.
like you said, I love that shit. It just like Guns of Brixton, like just makes me think of like some English lads going out, sitting in the away end in Manchester. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
That's
a
it.
couple pints.
Love the away end. So
Oh,
great.
You know, Jeff Caps getting in scraps with the other team's fans. You know what I mean? And it just gets me going. You know what I mean?
No
so,
idea what you're talking about.
Inky, do you have like is there a song that like that you like didn't like or really stood out to you?
Mm,
I mean, I know you hate the weight, so I was just wondering if you had enough.
yikes! Don't bring that back. I'm getting roasted on Twitter right now for my. But no,
Koala.
yeah, we're all fucking up. Nothing I really didn't like in terms of something that stood out. I thought Jimmy Jazz was kind of fun. Spanish Bombs, I agree. I mean, I think I love just any foreign language in these songs. We talked
Yeah, that
about
was cool.
with Michelle last week, right? So
Muy bueno.
Yeah.
Mucho gusto.
and yeah, maybe I just have a theme of shitting on every popular song, so I'll go with Train in Vain for overrated. It's the only one I knew,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
didn't realize how good
Good
the
it
rest
was.
of the album was.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't even give a least favorite, but the like Howling and London Calling is kind of cringe in my opinion.
Kind of.
Fair. Yeah, London Calling is one of their. It's funny, Jack. Weren't you saying that some of the Clash's like mainstays, like radio songs, you don't really care for, like maybe
Well,
London Calling and Should I Stay or Should I Go type of songs?
Yeah, because I mean, they're played a lot, like they're very popular, and I think like the reason I never listened to their stuff is I wasn't a huge fan of their hits, but the rest, and I've said it, I think I said this when we first talked about this album, that I was so surprised at the rest of their songs on this album specific. I haven't listened to the other albums. I'm gonna listen to the one you said after Seamus. But it's just like there's so much other good stuff that's very different from their hits. A lot of new wave, and like I said, like as a giant new wave fan, I was very happy. Anyway.
Yeah, they definitely do.
I'm not
some...
a big fan of London Calling.
Can you see that?
The song or the album?
The drawing.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I might have just ruined this whole thing.
Yeah, pretty.
We got to start over. God damn it. Nigel, you said you don't like London Calling, the song, or like this album?
The song. I don't really like the song that much.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, it's not really one of my favorites either. Jimmy Jazz, I will say, would maybe be my call for like most underrated. That call might say Spanish. When I heard Spanish Bombs today too, I was like, oh, look at that, another song that with like blending a foreign language into it, just like Michelle. And the only other point that I wanted to touch on that someone made earlier, when I said Guns of Brixton was a hip hop beat, I just re-listened to it when I went on mute, and like, yeah, okay, maybe it's not like the most classic hip hop beat, but maybe you brought the Beastie Boys up, and I think that's interesting. Maybe like there is kind of like a progression there. The Beastie Boys are kind of interesting too because they're like rapping over like kind of like really simple rock, like it's like rock instrumentation that they're rapping over. So maybe that's why I heard that beat and kind of hip hop. It kind of sounds like something that maybe the Beastie Boys would.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
that was cool.
I definitely see where you're coming from. I can hear some of it. Yeah. Cool.
Sweet. You guys want to move on to the
ranking? Yes. Oh man, you guys put Rubber Soul up there. Wow, I missed out.
Well, they did.
I don't think it's an S, but
you don't think
I put it as an A.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's what I get for being sick. So well, anyways, let's do it.
This is interesting that we're 4 weeks in and it's the first time we've had us four on it together.
Right.
Yeah.
Springfield song
comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah. So as far as like relabeling or shuffling these around as we go, it'll become more apparent and easier the more we do. I could honestly see all three of these getting bumped down. Obviously, the music from Big Pink being C would be like relative to like us only talking about solid albums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
there's. I mean, I have a question. Sure. If I may interject, sir. So like there's an F column, right? So what are we going to listen to stuff that's going to be terrible? Because like, what's that?
We just might.
But still, even then, it's like it's gonna be so obvious the difference between like an average album and a completely garbage album.
You're gonna want to skip that episode, guys. Everyone listening.
So I don't know, but yeah, I
No,
could
that's a
see
good point.
things getting moved down.
I think it's
Yeah.
pretty
So
relative, like Seamus said. If we listen to the album and like just nothing, no 10 seconds of it stands out to us, it's just meh. You'd skip every single song. It belongs in F. And that might happen.
I honestly I don't even want to join that call. That sounds like a waste of everyone's time.
It'll just be me talking to myself then.
No, we just have to pick a really amazing album and just shit on it the entire time and
Yes.
say it's
Yes.
F.
Something that everyone thinks is good, and then our like YouTube thumbnail could be like all of us going like
Oh my
react
goodness.
to
This
But
album
tonight-
sucks.
thumbnails.
to Nigel's point, and like what I was saying about this all being in reference like of things we're going to listen to, because there's a lot of things we would not give the light of day to that are just obviously going to fall in like F.
Right.
But maybe we should be a little tougher on it, because it's like something, especially if we're not going to put anything in F, something's got to go in C. And again, like for my taste in music, like this would be harsh, but I could see music from Big Pink falling to C. Just in the sense that it's going to be the lowest of 4 categories amongst everything we've ranked so far, especially if
Mhm.
Rubber Soul's coming down to A. I could see in my head, I could see a 2-category gap between Rubber Soul and music from Big Pink. That's just my opinion, but that's how I'm thinking about it. And like, if F's gonna stay open, then like, and C's gonna stay open, to Nigel's point, it's like, well then,
I think I like
everything that we talk about is gonna be an A or B.
I don't know about you guys. Nigel, Jack, music from Big
So
Pink.
I feel like if we're moving something, we should have like a majority with everyone on the call, like including Dan, and we should vote. And
yeah.
if the majority thinks so, then we should move it down.
I think that
So maybe-
probably like have an organized like some kind of like landmark where we go in and methodically
Yeah, I was
as
doing
a
the same
group
thing.
move stuff around instead of just ad hoc moving shit.
I also think like when we're doing these ratings, we should come to it with a scoring system, like have 5 different categories of like
Like S, A, B, C, F.
No, like so for each individual album, like there should be 5 categories, and we rate between 1 and 10, and then we score. But then we add up the totals, and if the totals reflect whatever, then it goes higher versus lower, rather than just
Right.
like. I mean, we don't have to add
Not a
that
bad
structure,
idea.
but I think that would make it easier to just score these.
As long as I'm not doing any
Um,
math, especially on camera, I'm
Trust
fine with
Trust
that.
me, after your reading performance this episode, I don't think we're gonna give you any math to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think
so,
that's
you know,
that's
we
all
can-
stuff that we could work on like between episodes. I feel like come up with a scoring system and then come into the
Yeah.
episode with a
Maybe, yeah.
with a score. And for now, we've only got 3 albums on the board, so I don't really think we need to look into moving anything. But as far as
Yeah.
London Calling goes, I'm curious to
Yeah.
see where you guys would put it.
I
would say
go-
like B or B. Like, let's just start at
I would
B.
say-
Tell me if you want to move it up or down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking B as well.
I concur with Bravo.
All right, I'm a guy.
Looking like a true
Inki.
military man.
Above music from Big Pink, because I was gonna say B as well.
Yeah.
And I think we got a sleeper on our hands. Like I thought this was gonna be, high C, below music from Big Pink, but going through the entire album. I mean, I thought it was a really nice cohesive package, like Jack was saying. Or maybe
I love a good package.
Disagree.
I like
that out. But the English theme with the variation in all of the styles, I thought it was tied together pretty nicely in that neat, nice package. So high B for me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But-
bringing up soccer makes me want to put it down to C
Cool.
now.
Mm.
Actually, So
Seamus, what was the one I should listen to? The other Clash album?
Give him enough
Rope one.
rope
You
is the
like?
one that I really like by them. I'd be curious as to how you feel about it. The
Cool.
song that you might know on it. I mean, I don't know, there's one or two other ones that maybe you've heard before, but "Stay Free" is on it, and that song is in the School of Rock soundtrack. So
ooh,
you maybe
Nice.
recognize it, maybe not.
we should just rate that movie right now.
Cool. Well,
Dude, I
Yeah.
could talk about that
It's an
movie for
S.
I mean
an
S.
hour.
Yeah, absolute
Yeah,
S.
S. Yeah. Easy.
Inky put it up
Um,
there.
I'm Seamus.
School Rock.
I'm gonna text an
Yeah.
album that I want you guys to listen to. From like the new wave side of the I'll send 2 albums and I'm gonna listen to the Clash album. We can trade.
Cool.
That I think you guys will like.
Yeah, I'm down to do some
Sweet.
homework.
Yeah. So is
Um,
next week into the outdoor?
No.
That's
I'm
just
gonna
a
try
holder.
fixing that up. Flattening with weight didn't work, so I think I'm gonna throw it in the oven, see what happens. It's
Nice.
what the internet told me. It's what ChatGPT said. So that thing's never
Oh,
worked.
boy.
Must be true. Must be
So-
true.
Huh?
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm wishing myself luck as well.
what temperature are you putting it in at?
The lowest one.
Good answer.
Yeah.
So I thought you were gonna say like,
I
I thought you were gonna say like, well, I cooked chicken nuggets at like 400, so I'll probably put this in at like 300.
350.
Just rip it in there.
We'll put it on
should put
broil
it
as
under
well.
put it under the broiler. Get it nice and crispy.
Yeah.
So I'll probably put it in next time I cook up a batch of brownies or something like that. Just put it on the bottom rack.
Exactly.
Just
fool
cook the
them
Just put it in the
brownies on it.
toaster. Put it
in
down.
my oven. That'd be pretty
Oh,
sick.
God.
Microwave it.
No, I mean,
Guys,
I gave it a
don't
shot
don't
yesterday.
do that
Really.
with your albums.
If you have any warped ones, I don't know. It seems promising. It seems promising.
It makes sense.
Yeah. That's why you don't leave them in
It
the
does. It
I mean,
does.
yeah.
Nigel, go ahead.
Beer.
I said nothing.
Okay.
Dude.
Cool.
So one more thing. We
Yeah.
have I think we have 400 or so records between me and Mallory, and we have absolutely nowhere to store them. They're all just in boxes, and we have nowhere to put them. So I'm looking for suggestions.
Seamus.
I have no idea what to do. Put them in Seamus's house.
I know a
they're
website
just-
that we could put them on.
No. They're just in,
yeah, or you
they're in
could just,
boxes everywhere.
You mean you have nowhere to
I
put
have
them? Is your house pretty small?
Like, do you want
I
them?
mean,
Don't have the
yeah,
space?
we want them. I'll send a link to you guys. I found these awesome floating record shelves, but they're kind of expensive, but they're metal and they're really good looking, and you just put them on the wall and they're out of your way. But I'll show you. They look really cool. They're just expensive, and I need someone to help me justify buying them. So
Oh, that's what
see.
you're asking for. Okay.
yes, justification to spend
Gotcha.
money.
100 records in your apartment.
I was going to say just put them in storage, but
All over the walls.
clearly not the solution you were looking for.
No, because I want to
put
listen
them
to
under
them.
your mattress.
So they flatten out. Oh man.
Yeah. I have
Glue them
Inki
to
and
your
Nigel's
walls.
records here. I can take yours too.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
what's going on. I think Seamus
You
is
open my
hustling
basement
us
door
all.
and it's just a pile of records.
Have you seen Zaboomafoo?
Oh
No
wow,
idea
dude,
what
I
that
haven't thought
is.
about that show in a while. Wasn't that on PBS
Zaboomafoo.
or something like that?
Yeah, with the fucking little
A lemur.
lemur. Yeah. But they would always open the closet and shit would fall out.
Sweet.
Come-
Well, on that
the
note,
reference,
my laptop's
guys.
at 1%, so my
Yeah.
laptop's gonna die in 2 seconds, and I don't know where my charger is, so I gotta go.
All right. No worries.
All right.
Yeah,
Good
we
luck.
can handle that one.
See ya.
See ya.
I'm Zaboomafoo. See ya.
Zaboomafoo out.